Alright, so lastly, let's just have some simple, basic practice problems, simplifying some negative square roots. So step one is to rewrite negative a. The square root of negative a is the square root of negative 1 times a. Well, in this case, a is 9. Then we're going to break down a. So we know that the square root of 9, well, I just kind of gave it away, is 3. But I'm just going to rearrange it a little bit to make our answer come out nice. So 9, the square root of 9 is 3. And square root of negative 1 is I, which is our answer. That easy. Alright, now next we have the square root of negative 196, which is the square root of negative 1 times 196. Okay. 196. What could that be divisible with? Well, I know, for example, 13, does that go into it? I'm just picking numbers at random right now. No. I mean, it's even, so we can try 4. All right, 4 and 49. Perfect. So we can break this down as, and I'm going to, skip around a little bit now. Negative 1 times the square root of 49 times the square root of 4. That gets us our 196. Now, the negative 1 square root becomes I. The square root of 49 is 7, and the square root of 4 is 2. So I can rewrite all this. Well, 7 times 2 is 14, left over with the I. This one is kind of, there's not much to it. We have the square root of negative 1 times the square root of 5. 5 is a prime number. We can't do anything with it. So it just becomes I square root 5. All right. Now, 80. It can be broken down as 8 and 10. So square root of 8 times square root of 10, which would equal the square root of negative 1 is I. I'll just simplify that real quick. Now, 8 is the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. And 10 is the square root of 2 times the square root of 5. Well, I know that the square root of 4 is 2. But then I have the square root of 2 times the square root of 2. So that becomes the square root of 2 squared times the square root of 5. And the square root of 2 squared becomes 2. So we have I times 2 times 2, square root of 5. Simplifying all that, 2 times 2 is 4. We have I, and then a leftover square root of 5. So 4I square root of 5. All right, now we have negative 32, which can be broken down as square root of negative 1, times, now 32. 32, when divided with 4, is 8. So we have square root of 4. And 8 can be broken down as the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. And that equals square root of negative 1 is I. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 4 is 2. And then the leftover square root of 2. Simplified all the way. 2 times 2 is 4. We have an I. And then leftover square root of 2. Oof. Finally. Negative 192. So that's the square root of negative 1 times, now 192. 192 is divisible with 3 and 64. So we have 60 square root of 64 times square root of 3. Now that we just break it down as I. Square root of 64 is 8. And square root of 3 is just going to be square root of 3. So left with 8i times the square root of 3. Thus getting all of these answers, and as we can see, the process is fairly simple.